Welcome to the MYBcast, a podcast series devoted to exploring alternatives for self-care through somatic touch therapies of all sorts. We are fascinated with the mind-body connection, and so are the people we talk with. Today, we are continuing our series, Portraits of the Pioneers. Portraits offers an in-depth look at those who have been actively involved in the exploration, development, and practice of somatic touch therapies of all kinds since their inception. I'm Anna Marie Bowers, and I'm here with my co-host Richard Mack, and we are joined by our guest from Israel, Abraham Bahat. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
Abraham, welcome back, and let's jump right in. So for those that haven't seen your earlier episodes, I strongly recommend that you go into our library. They're all there, and to take a look. So let me describe a Renaissance man in the world of new medicine. A Renaissance man is a person who basically takes from everywhere and brings it together, takes the best of everything and brings it together. And you've come to this work from the Paula method, from the Alexander method, from the structural integration method, to the Traeger approach method. And you bring this all together and you offer something that people that are coming to you that are dealing with a mind and a body and a spirit, and they're trying to incorporate how to navigate through this life with that stuff. I would love to open up this conversation with you first and foremost, talking about, you've mentioned the central axis of the human body. Maybe just start with that and then move into what you're doing now with the LTT method. So, Abraham, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, well, the central axis, it's a physical thing, which this is quite easy and clear, so I'll explain that, but it doesn't end there. The physical thing is the center of me as a structure. I am like kind of a building that is standing in gravity. So if I'm standing using my central axis, I'll be in balance and I will not need to use any effort to stay there. But where is it exactly? It's quite interesting. I'll try to stand up and show a little bit. I'm not sure that we have enough room. We'll try.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. So if I bisect my body to two, so I have a left and a right side, and also, so that's a plane that bisects me, and then I also bisect my body to two like this, so I have a front and a rear side, and then the meeting point of these two planes is a line starting in the top of the head, ending somewhere that is not reaching the ground because it's the center of the pelvic floor. Therefore, we also bisect the legs because the legs are reaching the floor. So yeah, you take the leg, you bisect it to left and right, and bisect it to back and front, and it ends in a point that people are not recognizing a lot. Oops. Well, it goes with the malleolus, so it's in the front of the heel, which is not an intuitive point because it's not the middle of the foot, and it's not the heel, it's the front of the heel. It's a point that already is not touching the ground, but it's also not the highest point. Weird. But this point indicates where should my weight as I'm standing should be directed to, and from there, from that point which is still not touching the ground, it spreads to the three known points of the heel and under the big toe and the little toe. So we have this triangle of the supporting points of the foot. And if you have 2 feet that are working, then you can also draw the line in the middle, which will be somewhere in the middle there. That's a central axis. So of course it's not enough. to relate to central axis because what's happening in movement. When I'm standing or sitting, yeah, if you use it, then physically you are efficient. You don't need any, because if I'm leaning somewhere, I need effort not to fall. And if I'm using the central axis, well, this is something that people are not aware of. When I'm using the central axis, my body weight is jumping up. Like what? Like a ball. If you take a ball and you push it towards the floor, it jumps back because we don't create a hole in the ground. So our weight is also falling down all the time, and it all the time jumps up, but depending on the angle, right? Because it only jumps straight up when the line of the traveling down is straight down. Only then it travels straight up. When the line is diagonal, the physical thing will say, okay, it will go back there. This is why when I'm in diagonal way to the ground, I do not receive the ground reaction force back through my own body. So I do not enjoy the feeling of lightness in my body because my own body weight is jumping up. So that's, again, as I'm saying, this is just the beginning. Eidorff didn't talk so much about central axis. He was talking about the line. Sometimes it's the same thing, but not always, because the line can be there always. Also, when I'm like this, I can be either holding with the muscles or receiving much more. You can't see it right now from here, but it depends on how am I relating to the ground. Are my joints open, just like in the Alexander technique, so that weight is traveling through the structure, or am I holding with muscles and when I'm holding, I do not allow the travel of the support to travel up. So of course, if I'm leaning to the side, it will not be the same lightness as I'm straight, but it doesn't need to be nothing. It can be as much as it can be. So this is something to learn also in movement. But still, this is not the main thing. And here is where I'm coming to connect it also to the LTT. But first, with the Eidorff concept of what is the correct functioning of the psoas muscle. So that's the thing, because she realized that any movement should start with elongation in the lumbars so that there is less arch, which was my problem. My whole problem in my youth was that my psoas muscle was pulling on the vertebrae forward all the time, so my back was stuck in an arch position. But a movement should start with elongation there, so a little bit freedom between the vertebrae, and you become a little bit higher, longer. And from there, whatever you want to move. You want to move your arm, your head, your leg. So in walking, I wish I could show it here, but I used to walk in a way like this. You see that I'm holding the lower back. And when it's becoming right, it's more like this. So I'm receiving more support from the ground. It's difficult to show it in this. So how this is coming into LTT. If a movement has to start from the center of my center, from the center of my central axis, from the middle of who I am, from the chakra of the belly, the solar plexus. I don't know what you know about the chakras, but not the old chakra of the solar plexus high a little bit, but in the middle of the belly, right there, where the who I am is defined in the most I don't have the words, but like Yeah, it's a definition of who I am in a very short way, the shortest way possible. That's the essence of who I am is defined right there in this chakra, and right there is the wheel of what did I come for? I came here as you said before, as a spirit, as a soul who choose to to concretize in matter and to go through processes here. But what for? There is a reason why I came. So some of us who are treating people came also to help other people to do a process of recognizing who we are and from where we should be starting any movement. A movement is not just a physical movement. It's anything that I'm doing in this world. Anything that I want to create in this world should be starting from the very middle of myself, the very essence of who I am. And that's something that, most people don't know about it, anything, don't think about it at all, are not aware of this possibility at all. And it is so amazing that both Traeger and Ida Rolf touched a part of this process that we are, as humanity, are developing into. Ida Rolf defined that a movement should start from the center. Okay. And Traeger showed how you can change your situation, you can change yourself, how you feel, you can change it just by deciding, just by wanting, just by asking how does it feel when it's like that? And then if you keep asking that and keep wanting that, but you have to keep doing it, otherwise it's just one at a time episode. If you do, well, that I didn't talk about this change in my own body, but my body was much more stiff, much more stiff. So the release in my body, I remember the first time that I touched my back, and this is my back? I used to feel that it is so hard, and suddenly it's softer. So that means that things can really change. And I lately started with a guy who has a scoliosis, quite severe scoliosis. We really wanted to, I helped him a lot before with the structural integration and many sessions after. And then we talked about these things as well. And I didn't have to persuade him. He said, this is clear for me. And what do we want to do? We wanted to see, can we make the scoliosis be less than the genetic? Why not? People are teaching now to change because genetics is not a decisive thing. It's just an option. We can decide whatever we want to decide. And this is something that Traeger already started in his days. So this is quite amazing how these two guys already taught something that relates to what the LTT, which was developed just in the last 17 years in Israel, is really teaching about. We are meant to be like God on earth, creating our own mitziut. Whatever is there, whatever I meet in life, I am creating it anyway, but unconsciously. And we can become more and more conscious and more able to change it to where we want it to change. So just learning to, like I told you with the first guy who had this severe migraines, and he changed his life just by keep doing the exercises. So just with physical exercises, you can do a lot of change. but the full change really starts from the consciousness. I need to be aware in order that something will want inside me, in the most inside of me, to change and to be something else, to be what else I can be, not just what I am now. And then you have to have a plan. You have to have something with we call it with working with the air. The air is the thinking, the plan. How am I going to do this change? But then when I start to go through this process, I have all the problems are jumping up and try to hold me and to tell me that you cannot change. You were always like this, you cannot change. You will not succeed, not this lifetime, and so on. And we need to learn how to work with the emotion part of us and to be able to recognize, just like in the physical, we recognize the earth as the supporting thing, that the element that because of this recognition I can let go. But if at the same time emotionally I'm under fear or under any other kind of threat, I must find another kind of support within me, which relates to who I am, because otherwise I'm all the time depending on something from the outside. This is interesting for me because I remember me teaching in Holland, and many times they were making this mistake about I need to support myself, they were saying. And I said, no, the support is from the earth. When you are supporting yourself, you are holding with your muscles. Mm-hmm. And they were right in another way. The support is not by holding, is by recognizing who I am. And as a soul, there is no threat. Well, when it's just a story, it means nothing. But when it's a process of really meeting my own inner essence and my own inner real what I want from the inside rather from the outside, and how to keep that what I want, up to keep it while in life and while things are not immediately happening as I want. Well, that's a learning process, and it leads to change in behavior. So I'm now healing from cancer, which I learned about a year and a half ago. Now, the cancer didn't just happen. It came as a tool for me to be able to do a deeper work within myself. Before it came, I already recognized that something in the left side was blocked for many, many years in a way. So I had problems in the shoulder and then lower in the arm. I didn't recognize at the time that it's in the heart that I, in a very, very weird way, learned all my life to open my heart on the right side, which is outside, to people. And I didn't learn to open my heart to the left side, which is inside, towards myself. And if I didn't have this sickness, I wouldn't do the checking in as deep as I did to be able to open up to parts of myself that I kind of discarded out, like, you are not me. And those parts, they came as saying, you are not me. So that's a cancer. So that's the process. And when you are using whatever life brings you as a tool to develop, then you are developing, then you are having a meaning for whatever comes through the door. And okay, that's what I wanted to show.
Thank you so much, Abraham. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So to answer your question about where is it going to, it's lately I started to give some just how you call it, just one lesson to people who massage therapists who work in the Kupat Cholim. I don't know how you call it. They're not in a very high level, and they have to take this lesson. And I have one-time opportunity to bring them to the right heart, to the right meaning of their work. And it was quite amazing. So it's not that easy in one meeting to bring them right to where we are right now in this conversation. But with some people, yes, and with some not. But it's always easier when it's through the physical part that I was just talking about, the use of the central axis, starting a movement from the inside out rather than be in the outside and reacting to life. It has a meaning in the body, and then it has also a resonance to life. And so that's interesting for me. Now I'm going to have 7 more sessions like that with different groups of therapists around the subject of trigger. The first one was around the subject of structure integration, and so that will be a very nice experience. So that's
really
what I want. I want to be able to bring that into this world, and this is what I said in the very beginning. I'm so happy to have created this program of structure integration, 282 hours, and it includes not only the Traeger and the rock and roll, but also looking at the meaning of any part in the body. What does it mean? So I look at it in the eyes of what chakra are we talking about and what are the functions of this chakra. So I'm learning that. It's not the old stuff that you can find in the internet. And yeah, and to relate anything that we are dealing with in this life to what is meaningful, to what are we here for, because we are in a time of a big shift. And I'm here to help this shift, first in myself. So I'm into going through this process of transformation within myself. So that's a process. I'm in a very good condition now, but I still want to be much stronger and lighter and more flexible and many things more. But I'm in a very good condition and I'm happy about that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You're finding the fountain of youth.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking for, because I am really a person of body, and I got to have this experience, an extraordinary experience, through one of the seminars that I took in this learning that I have. It was not about body at all, but I got from that for about a week and a half a feeling of what is it, how does it feel when you are all at one. I felt like a bear because it was very strong and light and flexible, and nothing can hurt me, and I can do everything. It was amazing feeling of how it can be, and yeah, that with some other improvements, I'm going towards that.
You are an example of being the bridge into the new shift that we're experiencing. I totally agree with you. We will not continue the way we have been because we're hurting each other and we are all part of each other. So that is a oxymoron. We can't do that. And the idea of using yourself as an example and teaching others that you're bridging these youngsters that are coming through and just learning from all the things that we've learned through this life.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, how are you teaching this? How can people participate in your courses? How do you do that? Are you doing it on Zoom? Do they have to go to Israel?
No,
You hang out
yeah.
in Amsterdam? What's going on?
Well, no, since the corona and the change that happened in Amsterdam in the school that I was teaching in, I'm not teaching anymore in Amsterdam. I'm only now I'm going to start to teach. Only in September, I taught just small parts, but the full program now. I have a school that is interested to do it. So we start with short. Two shorts, kind of like I have eight sessions, eight lessons about structure integration, and then 8 lessons about Traeger and rock and roll. And then if they want to continue, it's another 31 lessons to learn the whole thing about the structure integration with another episode of rock and roll and Traeger in the second level. So yeah, all this is happening just in Israel. Yeah, and I hope all this will happen. Yeah, we're just starting now. Yeah.
Will you be doing it online as well? Will you be doing it and sharing it at Zoom, or is that something that you can't quite get it translate?
I can't say that you can do it because obviously I didn't look at the lessons that people did in the Traeger approach, like what Roger is doing or other people. But so it's possible, but I'm not into that. No. So what I'm doing is I'm teaching frontally, and but we always take videos of the work, so they have it in a website that they can see everything that was in the lesson, but it's not the full teaching. It's I thought about it because I saw that it's not happening, but now it's starting to happen. So maybe I will do something, because if I really want to leave this option of what I'm giving, that's a good way to do it. But I'm not arranged to do it yet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
And
you
and
have to,
go ahead, Anna Marie.
I was going to say you have to start where you are,
Yeah.
and it's a process of discovery where it will go. And you're certainly someone who takes a step towards what you want, and you're open to the possibilities of what will happen next. So
Yeah.
we really look forward to hearing about what happens with this. This just sounds really, really exciting.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And we want to promote that as well through the foundation of somatictouch.org, which is that 501c. It's an organization where people can donate to put money into research and educate them about this kind of work, because this is baby steps that are happening right now. But as more and more things start to evolve, we're trying to create a place where people can go and get information about what you're doing, what Dean Juhan's doing, what other people are doing, that is very, very important for the youth coming up to understand this work and to take it forward.
Yeah. Sure. Good.
Wow. Once more, share how we can get in touch with you, because that's going to be very important. I'm sure some people are going to want to know more about LTT.
Yeah. So again, my website, avibahat.com, and can reach me through the website very easily. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Any parting words that you feel like sharing? Do you feel complete?
Yeah, I do feel complete. Just maybe the words that I want to say are that we are creating our own future. So we are here to make it better. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avi.
Thank you very much.
Abraham.
Yeah.
It'll take me a while. When I changed my name from everyone calling me Anne to calling me Anna Marie, it took a long time. So
yeah. Okay.
To our listeners and our readers, thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Portraits of the Pioneers. We hope that these stories have inspired you. This series has been made possible by our host, Richard Mack and Anna Marie Bowers, our production team, Mitch Lieber, Roger Gutzweiler, and Madalena Ferrara, and of course, our guests, whose willingness to share their personal stories is vital to educating the public and creating change in our world. Their leadership is lineage. Thank you to our sponsors, Mind Your Body and the Foundation for Somatic Touch. You can find them both on the web at myb.llc and foundationforsomatictouch.org. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and join us again for more interesting, compelling, and heartfelt stories. Thank you both.